From your perspective, how have you felt and how have you coped in the early days of my separation? Do you believe in dating with young kids? I'm paranoid and don't trust anyone. Hi everyone and welcome to Nesting Story. Today I'm going to do a little studio tour. I set up a studio in my house. I'm also going to do a Q&A with you. I haven't done a Q&A in a very long time, and I thought I'm going to put it out there. And I think there's also some hot topics that people have questions about, so I thought I would finally answer them. I went to Instagram and said just like shoot me some questions, and I wanted to film a Q&A for today, so here it is. But first, let me show you my studio. So this is the spare room in my basement, and it's not fully finished actually. There's no baseboards or anything like that. And you may remember a while back, it's been a playroom. It was an office for a bit, and now I thought I would turn it into a studio. So the reason that I did this is I am working on a really, really exciting craft for next week. And like it can tend to get, it was getting messy and it was spreading it all over the house. And so I thought I really need a space where I can keep this stuff and all my equipment and all my art stuff. And so I thought this room is just sitting here, I might as well use it. So over here, I've got all my tripods and everything, my lighting, I've got some craft supplies here. I've used a table here for crafting that I can kind of keep the mess at. And then I have this easel. I painted this, and I painted this a very long time ago, and I want to get back into painting. My background is in fine arts, and I'm also an interior designer. So my late grandfather built this for me from scratch a long time ago, so it's really, really important to me. It's very special. And then over here, I've got a drafting desk. This is from when I started to go to interior design school, and my dad bought it for me. So that's also very special to me, and they've been in storage, so I pulled those two out. And then over here, I've got my equipment. So I've got my camera, I've got some filming equipment here, and down here, I've got my rendering markers. So I'm really, really excited about this space. I cannot wait to start using it. It's very inspiring for me, and it's really special. Okay, I'm gonna do a Q&A. I'm a little nervous about it because a lot's happened since, well, the last time I've done something like this, but I think it's really important to answer some of your questions. And I'm trying to create more privacy with my family, with my content, and I've been saying on Instagram how I really won't be posting my kids as much, and because Nesting Story is really about me and creating and home and just my journey, really talking about kind of not losing myself after having babies. And so I'm just really trying to keep the focus on me, especially as my kids get older. They'll be around here and there, but it's definitely not going to be how it used to be. And although I've spoken about it quite a bit throughout all my platforms, if you didn't know, I'm no longer married. So I'm trying to be really sensitive to the kids mostly about it, and I know anything I put on the internet they have access to, and it's just they come first, and I will not use something that has happened in my life to further, you know, like create content that's juicy and everything to get more views or something like that at the expense of my kids. That's just not my style, that's not who I am, and I'm very sensitive to everybody, just like starting this new chapter. And really, there is nothing really exciting or, you know, scandalous or anything about it. It's more some decisions had to be made for our family that would be in the best interest of all of us and of the kids, and getting divorced and ending my marriage was the best decision for everybody. And I said this recently on Instagram, and I'm just saying this because I think a lot of you just kind of want to be in the loop a little bit. I said this on Instagram recently that because I kept it very private for a long time. So my timeline is different than everyone else's. Like this, I'm coming up on a year now that this change all began happening. And we took our time as a family to go through the whole process. So although decisions were made about a year ago, we took our time with how we were going to proceed with this change in dynamic to make sure that everyone transitioned well. And I made sure that we had a lot of support from, you know, counselors and family and everything like that. And I keep saying this and I'll say it again, we're all thriving on this side of things. And it was just really important to do this transition in a private manner and to not just kind of like splash it all over the place. So I feel good. I'm starting my next chapter. So let's get to the questions, because maybe I can kind of fill you in more with some of these questions. I'm gonna try to answer all of them. There wasn't anything too crazy. I think I thought some, like, I don't know, everyone's just so amazing. And I don't know, the kind of questions I keep getting from people and the support, it just blows my mind. And I'm very appreciative of the community I've built, because I think that's a reflection of, well, all of us, but then also like what I have spent these years creating. It's just really important to me that now that I'm going through a big change in my life, just everyone has been amazing. So thank you. Okay, so the first question is, how do you keep your energy and motivation up during hard times? It's not always easy, but I would say the biggest ones would be dropping perfection, especially during, you know, like I never thought I'd become a solo parent, caring for my kids when there's a global pandemic and there's a quarantine and there's no school and there's no camp and they're home all the time. So I kind of see it as like, well, the bar has been set like here and it can't get harder than that. And so I just really let go of perfection. If my kids are not dressed until lunchtime, but they're happy and they're healthy, then we're winning. If there's a lot of screens right now, as long as people are happy and healthy and stress-free, then that's fine. So I'm really letting go of perfection. I find it very hard to be multitasking all the time and everything. So that's been hard for me. But anytime I feel like I'm kind of derailing, which happened to me recently over the last couple of weeks, is I just felt like I think because I know school's starting within a few days now where I live, it's like I let myself kind of feel it, and I was feeling like I wasn't doing what I would typically do. So what I typically do to keep my motivation and my energy up is to constantly check in with myself, to make sure that I'm putting the oxygen mask on myself first. That means sitting down with my agenda, my planner, I'm a pen to paper type of person, and really being intentional about how I'm spending my time, and knowing that I can't do a million things every day, knowing that exercise is number one, and I put in when I'm going to exercise and then build my whole day around that. And self-care is really important too. And then once I've put those in place, and my sleep and boundaries with my kids about like bedtime and what I need, like I will literally say, I need to go now have alone time in my room, especially like 8 p.m. when the older kids are still up. I need that time. I need to be able to shut off my brain. I think I need to answer these questions a little faster. Okay, how am I finding co-parenting? It's going really well. That one was like, to figure out that dynamic wasn't hard. I think we came upon it pretty easily. There's been some complications with it being a pandemic, but we figured them out, and as the kids get older, things will switch up. But it's had its moments, but I would say it's been going really well. Yeah, can't complain. So someone said, you look great, happy and healthy, but how are you doing, Jo? I'm doing well. You know, I've said this, I forget where I said this, I'm kind of talking about it here and there all over, but making the decision to change our family dynamic that was the hardest part. I'm not saying that I haven't been through hell and back. I have, but that was the hardest part, and I think I've become really good at compartmentalizing the hard stuff and then focusing on the good stuff. But I think finding myself and just constantly making sure that I'm like putting myself first has been key, and I'm doing well. I am doing well. From your perspective, how have you felt and how have you coped in the early days of my separation? Okay, so because it was like a very long process, there's like different phases of it. But when everything kind of started happening about a year ago, I would definitely, like, I've never been through anything harder. The early days, you know, the biggest advice I can give to anyone who's going through that is if you can find something else to release that energy. For me, it ended up being like CrossFit and working out, because literally I needed to feel some kind of pain other than emotional pain, and that turned everything around for me. It was like I was able to face fear through that, and then the strength followed in every other area of my life. So exercise, I would say, is like how I've coped through it and been able to like thrive. Yeah, that would be the best way to answer that one. How to become, how can someone become a morning person like I am? I am naturally a morning person. I come from a family of morning people, other than my mom. We love our early bedtimes, we love our early wake up, so it's very natural for me, and that's something I try to remind people is like, I think people are just wired one way or the other. That's what I've seen with most people. Like, I know people who, there's some rare unicorns that can stay up late and get up early, but that's not me. But it's being intentional about it, being intentional getting to bed early, and I think also creating things in the morning that make you look forward to getting out of bed. So for me, I love breakfast, I love coffee, I love the quiet, I love taking a moment to kind of center myself before my kids get up. So if you have something to look forward to get out of bed for, that also makes a big difference in becoming a morning person. How do I not feel guilty for taking more time with my kids while my kids are on screen? They're struggling. So I guess the question is like, kids on screens, guilt. I have my moments, but I think that I think quarantine's been like, global pandemic has been really good for everyone. I heard someone say it's leveled the playing field. Like, everyone has had to survive. It doesn't matter how much money you have or how many after school activities or anything you have your kids in. We've all been leveled, and we're all now starting from ground up. And that for me has brought a huge peace of mind, especially, there's been some really positive things that have come with a global pandemic and a quarantine coinciding with this life change, because when I had to do a bunch of things like buckle down with money, or maybe not have my kids scheduled in so many things, or like everyone did too, and that was huge for me, because and it also, I knew that like I wouldn't have as much help at home. Well, then nobody had help at home. Everyone was home with their kids trying to figure things out. So back to the screens. That I learned, I think, after having 2 kids, to not over analyze everything. I think you kind of, when you have more than one kid, you just kind of have to drop perfection and survive a bit. So I think it came with time. I think it came with like having 4 kids, having twins, you relax about everything. You kind of have to. Okay. Woo. I said I would answer everything. Do you believe in dating with young kids? I'm paranoid and don't trust anyone. My advice would be that you are a mother and you're not dead, and so get out there. Get out there right away if you can. You know, dating shouldn't include your kids for a very long time. If you're co-parenting, you have time away from your kids, and that is like, you can kind of start figuring out your next chapter away from your kids. And then I'm guessing when you know it's right, it's right. But yeah, like, you're not, like, I think it's time for you to kind of like rediscover who you are. And it's obviously like a personal choice, but I think that a lot of women tend to kind of not, I think it's good to kind of see like how amazing you are, and to just kind of drop the fear and just get out there. what is your advice for someone wanting to start a blog? So I do coach people occasionally with this. I think my biggest advice would be to really figure out your story and I just realized there was like a vent on the whole time. It just turned off, but it's like one of those one take videos. Really figure out your story, and your story is unique to everyone else's because it's coming from you, and see how that can separate you. But try to just be really consistent with the content and just keep turning it out, be vulnerable. I would say that's the biggest one. Okay. What do you think of the interior design world overall? I kind of don't quite understand that question, but I guess like I'm working in the interior design world. So I worked for a company that we did restaurants and hotels and stuff initially, and then I worked for a residential firm, and then I had my own like design firm. I love aspects of it. I love styling. That's my favorite part. There's technical stuff and there's management stuff that I can't stand, and I think that's partly why I veered into the area that I'm in. I did for a while work for a residential firm and did almost all just styling, and if I could do that all day I would. I like that part. I love the interaction with clients. I love the creative part, but I'm so creative and right brain that the left brain stuff for me was not my cup of tea, but I think it's pretty awesome, and I think that stop barking, there's kids everywhere, you gotta just like hang in there with me. If you're thinking of becoming an interior designer, I think just like hone in on what part you love and then see how you can like build a career around that part. If you are one of those people who can really nail all of those areas, the management and the technical side and everything, like you're golden. Okay, a dog was walking by, that's why Oliver was barking. Okay, what is my favorite brand of coffee? I really like my Nespresso pods. They're delicious. I like the hazelnut one. That would probably be my favorite. So another question about how I'm coping being a single mother. I'm going to say I'm amazing. I'm doing really well. When it's a decision that you know is right for everybody, then so on this side of things, I'm thriving. We're all thriving. It's a balancing act, but I think I've been told by a lot of people that I manage 4 kids and a lot of people well. And so I feel like this new chapter, I'm kind of built to be able to manage it well. I'm still in the beginning process of it, but so far so good. Okay, and the last one, this is a good one. What is your advice for big life changes? I think it goes with that whole exercise thing. I was thinking about this one earlier. I think if you can tie in some kind of new form of activity or exercise along with a big life change, I think that can be huge. I think to have an outlet to show how strong you are to yourself, because it trickles into everywhere. And if you can try to like include something that like strength portion, I think that really contributes to it. I think family and friends, like holy smokes, I've had so much beauty in the last year of like people showing up in my life. And I have way closer, more genuine relationships with everybody in my life than I think I ever have. I've really discovered who I am. I think that I'm this version of myself that I really love, and I just know how resilient this person is. And so I think the biggest advice would be to really start seeing how you can create support for yourself. Call, and don't be afraid to ask for help or support, or just like reach out to people when you're feeling overwhelmed or lonely or whatever. And then I think also to somehow do something that's like to make you feel strong. Getting tattoos, and I'll probably do a blog post soon about the meaning of my tattoos, but that was like a big part for me about just affirming and confirming like how strong I am as an individual. And I think that if you can find ways to Sorry, I'm like hearing kids in the background. Raina's like in 2 places at once. But if you can find ways to just show yourself how resilient and strong you are, and that, you know, whether it's like this really exciting big life change, like a new house or a new job or something really challenging that you didn't see coming your way, that if there is a way to bring out that inner strength, do it and hold on to it, because I think everybody is way stronger than you think. Anyways, I'm gonna end that video here on that note. That was a lot. I don't know how much I'm gonna edit out of this. I'm hoping I rewatch it and just leave it all in there, because it's very personal and I don't want to make the channel about this stuff, but I thought, you know, I'm gonna just share a little bit more here and then we can move on to more of the lifestyle stuff again, because I think a lot of people are kind of like, just like trying to catch up, but we're all good. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love for you to subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.